It is the driving force behind everything I came to be. Two sides of duality are the two sides of the cervix of my heart, stretching open. To become the absolute all-embracing love of the flame of the one God, the one being, grokking in full embodiment that there is only one of us here, that in every timeline, in every moment of existence, there has always only been one of us here. And that whatever is driving my evolution it is this absolute demand to release all identification with a self that has the capacity to judge or turn against any other part of the self. It almost feels ruthless. This catalytic force of God thrusting me through the great cervix of the heart of universal love, or the bywave of good and bad, self and other, protagonist and antagonist, all must dissolve into the one vibrating flame of oscillating presence that has always been the source of all things. It is almost like the light of the projector. There is a time when everything that has been projected upon the screen must be breathed back into the light of the projector itself, as this absolute light trumps everything in the lower reality of that which was projected upon the screen. Every story of life and death, every story of war and pain, every cause to fight as a warrior for good against evil, In the end, the only way to true liberation is to become the one light beyond this entire dream. And the more of us that begin to stand and know ourselves as this one light, the more this one light will dissolve everything in the dream of duality. Back into the pure love emanating throughout all creation. This love building out the new earth that emanates from the heart of unity, consciousness. And everything in my life, all the addictions of the fantasy bond of romantic love, that love is requited as my mind penetrates, as a sperm penetrates the ultimate egg of the great mystery. Conceiving itself. Into the infinite Christ heart of non-duality. And so I still find myself moving through this birth canal, a corset of death around my breath, as long as one remaining judgment survives. I am the one breath of the solar logos of the infinite Christ that must dissolve. All identification with duality. Thank you to all elements in my life that have been stretching me, ricocheting between extreme egoic states of attachment and the universal love of the self beyond all attachment, oscillating wildly between the poles of the depth of ego and the depth of God. And ultimately, God will win. For in the final hours, when God demands the dissolution of the dream, there is no choice but to be pulled through the vaginal canal, whether we live or die. That remains to be seen. But there is no doubt the nature of the force. That is drawing us forth to be all that we were meant to be, the one absolute truth of unity. And so I thank all players at the edge of the awakening from this dream of the story, of all karmic stories ever played out in all timelines on this earth and on other planets, in other galaxies. I thank all of these incredible lessons of love and loss, of the extremes of relative reality, to finally become extreme enough that they pop the membrane of duality itself and the capacity to identify with the one in the story. Ushering us back to the light. The one light, the one flame from which everything came. The second strand of DNA of the crystalline matrix is the strand of the karma lived and engraved upon the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual bodies. And the emanation of the virtue that vibrates from this second strand of the crystalline DNA. There are 12 strands, but the second strand is instrumental in birthing us into the third strand of the Trinity wave, which pierces the membrane of duality. And the governing virtue of the full heroic probability of the second strand of DNA is gratitude. Gratitude for all things. For the pleasure, for the agonizing pain, for the beauty, of romantic love, the sacred holy eros of the heart in separation consciousness that will ultimately strike at such a strong level that it will serve to birth the self beyond duality, beyond identification with the one in time. And so gratitude. Gratitude for all the dramas, all the stories told on film and on the film strip of our lives through all timelines. Gratitude for this immensely beautiful, multi-dimensional, woven fabric of the myriad of stories that ultimately move us beyond the story itself and deliver us into the heart of God, the supreme love that trumps all human desire, quenches all human hunger, human thirst. As we arrive at the origin point of sacred union, the higher command of the God Code, which gives the command to everything in separation consciousness to return, to rejuvenate back into the immortal, oscillating flame of perpetual presence that resurrects everything in the death code back into the Trinity wave of the living light. Healing every dis-ease in the body. For all dis-ease is born from the false identification with separation consciousness. And so in this powerful time, we are told that through the Lion's Gate, the first wave will begin the preliminary embodiment of the God Code. And I do believe this to be true. For the intensity of this birth that I am enduring as a member of this first wave of consciousness is beyond anything I have ever endured in my life. Those of us in the first wave are path cutting the portal from the human heart to the universal higher heart. And so for the first wave, it is much more difficult than it will be for the second wave. For we will deliver the code to the second wave. They will not have to path cut it. And of course, the first and the second wave will deliver an even more powerful path, a more powerful quantity of unity to the third wave. And by so doing, the first wave will resurrect itself and then resurrect the second wave. The first and second wave will resurrect the third wave. And in so doing, the entire third dimensional consciousness of all sentient life will be transmigrated into the organic fifth dimensional new earth. where we were supposed to go to in March of 2005. After 9/11, we had to take the long way home to path cut unity consciousness through our own human genome. And I, as one of the veil lifters, have been on the front lines of the dissolution of the death matrix for 40 and a half years. And I say now, the fruit of this great labor is coming. So much love to all beings in this great passage of labor and delivery with the God Code. This is the most historic and beautiful, magnificent process. Never before has consciousness been alive, awake, and aware in a body as it moved from full entrenchment in fear-based reality into absolute home, into the heart of unity. All the other times this has happened, we have died and woken up in the golden age. Never have we lived in body, consciously aware through the death and rebirth that we are going through at this time. So hold on to your hats, loves, and enjoy the ride. For it is delivering us to somewhere more beautiful, more immensely glorious and magical than we could ever grok, that we could ever imagine with the current state of consciousness. How beautiful it is to be with all of you on this planet. And again, I thank my greatest beloveds, the ones who have been with me every step of the way in the physical, like my beautiful Frank Edward Martin, my glorious Sylvie Scoville, my wonderful Pamela Jane Durand, my mother, Connie Adams, and all the loves that walk so close with me, and the ones who have triggered me from afar, even from other planets. That I found through that little box that tells the ultimate stories. Gratitude, beloveds. Gratitude is the frequency that will deliver us through the roughest places. We rise on the wings of gratitude into the universal heart of all embracing God.